Welcome to the L Plate podcast, where we sit at Jesus' feet until he's formed in us. I'm your brother and fellow disciple Adonis Mapango. When I was a boy, my pastor said something I never forgot. He said that a disciple, someone who follows Jesus, wears a learner's plate. That's the big L sign you see on a car when someone is learning to drive. The sign remains on the car until the driver becomes good enough to drive without an experienced driver helping him. He told us that a real disciple wears that sign on the front and on the back at all times. This is because disciples are always learning. We don't grow out of it. We don't finish. We follow Jesus every single day, and there's always more to learn about him. That's what the L Plate podcast is about. It's not about big words or fancy ideas. It's not about trying to look smart or get everything right. It's about sitting with Jesus and letting him teach us how to live like he did. Jesus said something very important in John 14, verse 23. He said, "If you love me, you'll do what I say. And if you do that, my Father and I will come and live with you." That means Jesus doesn't just want to visit us. He wants to live inside of us, in our hearts, in our thoughts, in the way we live. That's why we say a disciple is someone who lets Jesus live in them and work through them. He's not just someone who goes to church or knows Bible verses, but someone who says, "Lord Jesus, you can have all of me." That's what we're learning to do here, to let Jesus live in us. But here's something very important. Even though Jesus lives in us, we can never master Jesus and know absolutely everything about him like we would some topic we study at school. He's just too big for that, too deep, too wonderful. That's why we never graduate. We don't get a diploma. We don't get to say, "I'm done. I've passed with an A." No. Still, there are things he gives us to help us grow and be like him. He helps us become more loving, more patient, more kind. That's fruit, the fruit of the Spirit. Fruit that grows slowly like the fruit on a tree. Let me tell you something that happened to me. When I got saved at 17, I had a real problem with profanity, bad words. It was a sin I'd carried for years. It came out without thinking. But then a brother in the church came to me and said, "Ask God to set you free, Adonis. Read the word every day. Let it work in you." So I did. I began reading my Bible every day, praying, pleading with God to help me. I wanted to grow. I wanted to change. After a month of following that simple advice, I realized something. I hadn't used any profanity for over a week. It was gone. God had set me free, quietly, deeply, and truly. That's how his fruit grows in us. Then there are other things Jesus gives all at once, it seems, like a special gift or a healing. When I was 7 years old, I got malaria. I missed school for 2 weeks. My best friend Nelson had it too, and he was taken to hospital. One day, my mother took me to the doctor who checked my temperature and said it was dangerously high. He told us that if I stayed the same the next day, I would need to go into hospital too. I was afraid. I thought maybe I'll die if I go to hospital. So the next morning when I woke up, I got down on my knees beside the bed. I didn't know much about prayer, but I said one thing: "God, please make my temperature go down." Later that day, when the doctor checked me again, he looked surprised. "Adonis," he said, "your temperature is normal. There are no signs of malaria." I was healed. So you see, Jesus can do both. And all of it is part of him shaping us, making us to be like him. So here in this podcast, we do not just talk about Jesus. We surrender to Jesus. We feed on his word. We let his spirit shape us. We ask hard questions, but we keep going because disciples wear their L plate always. You're welcome to walk with us. Whether you're just beginning or have known Jesus for a while or don't even know him at all, if you're willing to learn, you belong here. So until next time, keep your eyes on Jesus, front and back. Remain at his feet because disciples never graduate.